I'm Darlene. Welcome to Super at 60. Today we are cooking out of, I should say baking. Well, we're baking and we're cooking. And we are going to be using kind of an old cookbook. I love finding old cookbooks or realizing that I had old cookbooks and then kind of finding them and looking through them and seeing what, it's funny because recipes change over the years. Things that were very popular like in the 70s and the 80s are great recipes, and some of them just kind of go with the past, you know, and we don't see or hear from them again. Today, however, I'm going to resurrect something I think probably from the 80s, I think this was. I want to show you this cookbook. This is a cookbook from a school and all the faculty at the school where I used to work gave recipes, and then they put this great cookbook together here in Northern Virginia. And what I really love about this book, not only are the recipes really great, I'm going to hit 2 of them today, but you'll see there's kind of like a little fold right here. It goes all the way around the book. And so you open your book, find your recipe that you want, and if you want to prop it up on the counter, you just flip the back, just like that. Just a little bit. And you set it down on your counter, and there you go. You've got your recipe right in front of you. So I'm going to drift this guy off to the side here for just a wee bit, and I'm going to be checking in on him every once in a while just to make sure I got the recipe right. Okay, today we are going to start with something called oven apple pancakes. I'm not sure exactly how this is going to come out. Out of the 2 recipes today, one is one that I have never done before, never really even heard of, and I don't think I've seen it in another cookbook at all, so that'll be fun. The second one is one that I have made personally so many times I can't even count. My kids loved it growing up. It's called President Reagan's Favorite Macaroni and Cheese. And it's not that gooey, ooey, kind of slurpy mac and cheese you put in a pan and the cheese is like everywhere. It's more of a custard-like mac and cheese. It's a little different, has a little bit of a different flavor to it, but oh, is it good? It's really, really good. You can use it as a total meal if that's all you wanted. Or I think probably once or twice, or maybe even more, we added like chopped up ham, or even hot dogs you could put in there, kielbasa, some kind of sausage or whatever, and I think that would work. However, today we're going to make it just as it is, just macaroni and cheese, and frankly, I think that's the best. So just follow along today, and I will do my best. And here we go. I'm going to start with, we need 3 apples, and we're going to peel them and slice them, and then just kind of chop them up a little bit. It doesn't say to chop them, it says just peel and slice, but I think as I read through the recipe, I think that I would prefer having them chopped just a little bit, in little pieces. And I think they'll cook better that way too in the oven. Because I think the worst thing is chomping into something that has fresh cut up apples in it, like an apple pie, and then realizing that they're kind of not done. They're still kind of at the crunchy stage, and I don't really like that. I like it where it's soft and cooked, basically. Okay. All right, our apples are done. I am going to, we have to spread some sugar and cinnamon on them, of course. Where there's apples, there's cinnamon and sugar somewhere. Half a cup of sugar and 1 tablespoon of cinnamon. All right, got my sugar right here. Okay, half a cup. Okay, half a cup of sugar. And what did I say? A tablespoon of cinnamon. Okay, that's my cinnamon. I think this is going to be really good. I think it's going to be a little different. I do. What did it say? A tablespoon of cinnamon. Wow. It won't even fit in there. Whoa. Yeah, I think that's kind of a lot of cinnamon. I don't know about that. That's what it says though, 1 tablespoon of cinnamon. Yikes. I mean, I love cinnamon. That seems like a lot of cinnamon. Okay, I told you I'd never made this one before, so we're experiencing this together. All right, put that over there, and the sugar is in there. Just give it a quick little mix. No, the sugar is not in there, but it's going in there. Okay, and we'll just go ahead and mix it all up. Whoops, I'm a mess today. I saw these 2 recipes. Excuse me. Got these allergies. Any of you suffer from seasonal allergies? I don't know. I just wish it would stop. And it's been raining and raining and then raining again here in Virginia, and I'm just getting a little sick and tired of it. But hey, what can you do? Not a thing. All right, so I'll set that aside for a minute, and let's do the liquid that we have to do now, actual batter. All right, and that is going to be 4 beaten eggs, a cup of milk, some salt, and some flour. So let's do the eggs. 4 eggs. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's right there. Okay. I have my mixer out. I'm not sure I'm going to need it, but I don't know. I'm trying to save my eggshells. I like to garden. A little bit anyway. We garden a little bit. And I garden a little bit. A very little bit. And I'll show you later on. Not today, but at another time. And I heard somewhere that if you save your eggshells and then let them dry out, that you can just kind of pulverize them in a blender to basically an eggshell powder. And when you're mixing up your soil to get it ready for the plants, and for the vegetables, it's protein, and you can just sprinkle it in and use your fingers and mix it in with your topsoil. I don't know, it sounded good to me, so I don't have a for sure, okay on that, but it sounded logical to me. And I've also heard about using coffee grinds. Save your coffee grinds, dry them out, and after you've used your coffee, and then put that in there too. And I think they said something about the acidity from that and good for tomatoes. So I don't know. I have to recheck. I really have to recheck both of those because I don't want to ruin my garden. But hey, all right, one quick little mix. All right. Oops. Here's that big mess. Let's stick it right over here. We don't need this anymore. All right, let's do a cup of flour, which is right here. I really love this cookbook. I think it's great. I think maybe what I need, I've been resisting it for some stupid reason, I don't know, is one of those cookbook holders on the counter. I think they're cute. I really do. But, I don't know, I guess I always just kind of talk myself out of getting one. So, maybe I will now. I don't know, maybe Mother's Day. Hint, hint, anybody? Okay, so, let's see. Here's that. And I'm going to put sorry, I'm half lying, half teaspoon of salt. Not really, but half teaspoon of salt in here. Make sure that when you're measuring salt, you measure really level. Don't get anything any higher than that because, in fact, I'm going to put a little bit back. I don't even want that much. Because there's nothing worse than making a product and then realizing later that you have just put far too much salt in there. Yeah. All right, so here we go. And then I think the last thing we have to add here is a cup of milk. I think basically what this is kind of making is like a pancake batter. Yeah, I think so. All right, and that is 1 cup of milk. I'm kind of excited. I can't wait to see what it does. I'm kind of hoping in my mind I have this idea of it like a souffle, kind of puffing up in there with the apples and the cinnamon, and it's going to smell great. That I can assure you. All right, so here we go. We're just going all over the place here. All right. Yeah, it's a little thinner than a pancake batter? I'll show you. Make sure that's all mixed up. Okay, I think that's all I'm going to use this guy for today. Alright, batter is doing good. I'm going to set it aside again just for a second because here's my pie pans. We have to use 2 pie pans. That's what it calls for, 9-inch pie pans. And it needs you to butter each of the pie pans. So I softened my butter just a little bit. It's about 2 tablespoons, I would guess, per pie pan. And yeah, my first thought was, well, I'll save my butter and just use a spray. But I think they're after the actual buttery taste, if you will. That spray usually, now the spray definitely does not have. None of the sprays I use. Actually, I don't really even like using sprays. I like them in muffin pans if I'm not using liners. Otherwise, it is so hard to sit there and do this to every one of those little muffin cups. You know what I mean. All right, so there we go. That's all that I'm going to need for right now, so I'll stick that right back in there. All right, so now we're going to divide the apples, half in one and half in the other. Oops. It smells good already. There's just something about apples and cinnamon. A wonderful thing. All right. There we go. I think that's just about even. Let's see. Just spread it around on the bottom, just like that. This is interesting. Put just a little scoop over here. All right, I think that's exactly 1.5 apples in each one. Remember, we peeled up 3. All right, there we go. Now, my hands will see, of course. All right, done. The oven has preheated. I heard it buzz just a little bit ago, so it is ready to go. And we're going to divide the batter now over the apples. All right, let's see if we can get this just right, because that could be your disaster right there. If this is not right, because you can't really undo this. So we'll start out slow. A little bit more over here. Yeah, I think it's just fine. Oh, I just don't even know how this is going to come out. I really don't. All right, so we have our plates, our pie pans ready to go. I imagine you could probably do this if you didn't have pie pans for some reason. I think you probably might be able to do individual ones if you used muffin cups and use the paper, or maybe not. Maybe you should go ahead and use your spray like we were just talking about and use your muffin cups. These might just come out individually, and it might be something you can freeze. Now, I don't know this for sure. I would have to try it myself, but I'm thinking, I know what ingredients are in here, and apples freeze very well, cooked or uncooked. So yeah, I think that would work really well. Okay, I am going to stick these in the oven, and when they're done, I'll be back, and we'll give them a test. Hi. Welcome back. We are on to our second entree now, and this is President Reagan's favorite macaroni and cheese. I don't know that personally, but that's what the recipe says. It's our family's favorite macaroni and cheese. Maybe I should just call it that. Okay, so in my bowl here, I have about a tablespoon of butter, soft butter, and an egg. Okay, and I'm just going to mix that egg up really well. Get a good beat there. And the butter will melt. The pasta just came off the stove, so it's good and hot. I did save a little bit of the pasta water. If you're making a dish or something and it calls for a little hot water, or not, even if you're making a pasta dish and you're going to rinse the pasta water, or drain it, excuse me, save a little bit of the water because you never know when you might need it later in that recipe. If something looks a little dry, you don't want to add just tap water when you've had this wonderful pasta water cooking on the stove. All right, so let's go ahead and add the pasta, the star of the show here. Okay, and I'm just going to plop him right down in there, and that's exactly what happened. Okay, so I'm going to stick him there. Noodles flew all over, so I'm going to throw them in the sink. All right, so I'm going to mix it up. These are cooked al dente, to the bite, to the tooth, which means you don't want them real soft. If they go really, you'll know if they go too far because the noodle starts to get so soft and it's so puffed up, they look swollen and they start to crack a little bit and open up. These are just right because they still have to go back in the oven and cook a bit more. Even if they didn't. Al dente, if you're having pasta with a little bit of a butter cheese sauce or something, al dente is practice al dente. Because I didn't get it right at first. It was over or it was under, and you just have to, it's one of those things, you just have to know. You can see a little bit of the egg here is starting to show, a little of the egg whites, so it's cooking in the hot pasta. Okay, so I'm going to set that right there for 1 second. Over here, we're going to mix a teaspoon of the dry mustard, that's what's in this little cup right here, and a teaspoon of salt. And it wants us to add 1 tablespoon, where's the water, where's the water? Oh, it's actually written in the recipe, I see it. It's been a while since I baked this. I can't believe how I have forgotten some of it. All right, this is like steaming hot water, and I'm going to take a tablespoon of it and pour it in my little pitcher here. Maybe just a tad more, because I think I have just a little bit over a half a pound in here of macaronis. So I'm going to mix that up, stir it up really well. And then, what does it say here? Okay. All right, we're going to add this to the milk. We need a cup of milk, which I left out right here, so we have it right away. I'm going to set it in this bowl for just a minute because we're kind of making a custard, if you will. And there, that goes right on top there. And now we're going to add this, make sure that's all mixed up in there, to our milk. Okay, and there's our custard. And of course that egg is still setting up in there. You have to have eggs when you're making a custard, anything, whether it's sweet or savory. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to mix this up really well. Alright, so, add cheese. Okay, now we're going to add the cheese to our noodles. Because the noodles are so hot, they'll take the cheese right now and it will start melting before it even goes in the oven. Alright, so we need about 2 cups right now of just shredded cheddar cheese. If you like a mild, use a mild cheese. I think I have mild, yeah. If you like something a little more pungent, use something a little more sharp. It's up to you, or a combination of both. I like combinations of cheeses. All right, so there we go with 1 cup. And I think too that, like I said, I did put a little bit more than just a half a pound of macaroni in here. So I'm gonna probably add a little bit more cheese. Come on, dude. Yeah, there. Okay, that's about 2 cups. And then here is my little add-on. It's not unusual for me to add on stuff. Okay, there we go. We are going to need a little bit more of that cheese in just a second, but for now, I'll set it off to the side. Give it a good mix. Make sure there's enough in there. Everybody's falling overboard here. Okay. All right, we are now ready to add our milk. This is the custard, basically. And you'll know when your baked macaroni and cheese comes out of the oven, you'll know that it's It's different from your stovetop mac and cheese or your packaged mac and cheese, something you put in the microwave. It's just different. It has a different texture. And I think because of the dry mustard in there, it has a little bit of a different flavor, but you're really gonna like it. It's good, very good. All right, it's a little bit soupy, which is perfect because it's a custard again, and it's gonna set up basically in the oven, just like that. Set this guy aside. All right, I'm gonna take out a little dish here, 2 little dishes, because I think we're gonna overflow here. All right, and I'm gonna set him right here and put a little bit in. I'm gonna use my cup measure. I have a feeling that's gonna work just perfect. Yep, they're already sprayed or buttered. So yeah, they're ready to go. I'm gonna make sure I get some of the custard that has fallen to the bottom. But I don't want to get it all because I have to put some in the other dish. Okay, there, that's good. I think that's good. And then we can go ahead and pour the rest of this right into this guy. Boy, my kitchen is really taking a beating today. And so am I. There we go. Okay. I'm just going to scrape out a little bit of this. I hate to leave stuff behind. My grandma taught me that. Always scoop out every little bit. Oh, this is perfect. This one, I'm going to bake them both, but I'm going to probably put this one in the freezer for another time and just kind of reheat it. There you go. Okay, now we're going to take a little bit of that extra cheese that's left over and sprinkle it on top, and it'll just kind of melt really nice as it's baking in the oven. Baked mac and cheese. This one too is going to get some. You don't want to load it up because I think too much cheese, sometimes too much cheese in a macaroni and cheese, ugh. I just personally, I like cheese, but not that much. Remember, it's all mixed in throughout the pasta noodles, so you can't go wrong. Okay. So I'm going to go now and leave you and put these into the oven for just a little bit. Actually, what does it say here? About 45 minutes. Some of the older recipes you might notice, be very careful of the time that the degree they tell you to bake something at or cook, and also the time that they give you. Most ovens today are convection oven. I find that my convection oven cooks hotter, and therefore whatever I have in the oven is baking completed sooner. So I'm very cautious as to how I put it in the oven, because you spend a lot of time and a lot of ingredients putting this stuff together. You just don't want it to flop on you or burn. Okay, so it says here bake at 350, which is about right, and I usually put my oven when I bake anything at 350, with few exceptions, maybe that nice crusty crunchy bread that has to go higher. And for 45 minutes it says. Well, I have 2 here. I've cut it in half, so that in itself is going to cut the time down. And then also, like I said, it's convection, so it's going to cook, my oven anyway, is going to cook a little bit faster. So instead of 45 minutes, I'm going to put it at 30. I'm going to start at 30 minutes, and you can always check it. And always set your timer. If you don't have a timer in your oven, then go out and get one. Just one of those little turn ones. Those are so cute. You'll just hear the tick, 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 and then ding, ding, ding when it's done. I thought those were kind of neat. Anyway, mine comes with one, and I use it all the time. And I use it for lots of other things too. Cleaning, if I want to set a limit or something, it doesn't matter, whatever. Okay, so they're going in the oven, and I will be right back, and I'm going to show you everything that we made today. Wait till you see the first recipe. It came out really nice. Hi, welcome back, and we are all done. This was a nice long day in the kitchen, and the kind of days I really like to enjoy. I like to create new recipes and just see how they come out. Sometimes they're duds, and sometimes they're not, and they are not today. We have a delicious baked, President Reagan's favorite baked macaroni and cheese, which is very custardy. Very different from your other mac and cheese, as you will see. Okay, it's very hot. They're just out of the oven. These have cooled down a little bit over here, but of course they can be served very, very warm. They can be served as I've done here with a little bit of powdered sugar. They can be served with, hot and with ice cream on it. They can be served with whipped cream on it. And of course they could be served with maple syrup poured over the top of them. Why not? Would make a lovely breakfast. This would make a really nice dish to have prepared for when you have company coming. Okay? All right, so I'm gonna take just a little bit out here so you can see it up close. Oh, this is so pretty. I can feel the texture of it already. It's gonna be really, really lovely. Oh, look at that. It's beautiful. It's really, really beautiful. It's steamy and hot. Look at those nice cheesy noodles. I'm gonna come around here. I want you to see this. I want you to see this. Okay, I worked hard on this today. It's beautiful. Nice crispy, crunchy crust on top. And then very cheesy and very soft and beautiful in the middle. Okay? All right. So we have that going for us right over here. And then our other dish of the day is our beautiful apple pancake, basically, is what it is. Let's see if I can just take a little bit of it here, put on a plate for you. And it kind of came out like a pancake, if you will. Oh, it looks wonderful. It's very moist and very beautiful. And while it was baking, and even now, the smell is so gorgeous. All right, there you go. It's a beauty. Serve this any way you like. Put a little squiggle of syrup on the plate before you place this down, and you'll have a very fancy dessert for a very festive occasion. Or not. Just make it for the weekend, Saturday morning, Sunday morning, why not? So here you go. We have our two wonderful dishes that we made today. They are beautiful to look at, and they will be delicious, I can tell by the smell, to taste. And we're going to have these for our dinner tonight. I want to thank you so much for joining me here at Super at 60. And my name is Darlene. And if you like the channel and subscribe to the channel and tell your friends. I'd love to have all of you in my kitchen next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.